Hi there, families. This is Miss Quinones, and I'm so glad that you joined me for today's art project. Today, we're going to be combining art with what we learned on Monday. So if you haven't seen Monday's video, it's all about jazz music, the Harlem Renaissance, and some really, really amazing African American musicians. So I really, really want everyone to go check out Monday's video before you do this one. If you already saw Monday's video, scholars, then today you are going to get started on making your very own piano. Now, it's not going to be like a real piano that is like huge and sits in a concert hall. Instead, it's going to be like our own personal piano that we can put anywhere that we want. We can take it out and we can use it for some pretend playing. So all sorts of stuff like that. Families, this is going to be a project that is best done with adults or grown-ups that are in the house, just because we are going to be doing a little bit of cutting and some gluing today. So make sure that your students are using scissors safely and that they're not, spilling glue or taping things all over your counters. So families, the very first thing that I want you to do is go grab all your materials. So scholars, I want you to make a really, really quick list of all the things that you're going to need and then hit pause and go grab those things. Okay, so the first few things that you're going to need are some pieces of paper. The first piece of paper I want you to grab is just a regular white piece of paper. Okay, nothing special about it, just blank and white. Okay, families, the next piece of paper I want you to grab, I want it to be bigger than your white paper. So you can see that my white paper is smaller than my red one. You don't have to have a red paper. It doesn't have to be the same color. It could even be newspaper or cardboard or whatever you have in your house, families. Just make sure that whatever you get is bigger than your white paper. The last piece of paper that you're going to need, families, is like some extra scratch paper. So you're going to need just a small piece of scratch paper. And it doesn't matter what color it is or what it comes from because we're going to be cutting it up. The next few things you're going to need, families, are some glue or some tape. You don't need both, just pick one. Either pick glue or tape. And you will also need a pair of scissors. Remember, scholars, if you're by yourself right now, I want you to wait until you're with a grown-up to use some scissors. Capiche? The last things you will need, families, are like a black marker. If you don't have a black marker, you can use a black crayon, a colored pencil, a pen, whatever you have at home. And you will also need something that's very flat, like a ruler. So this is my ruler, but if you don't have a ruler, scholars, what you can do is go grab like a book or a magazine or a folder that you use, and you can use the flat side of it so that you can make some extra straight lines. Whenever you look at pianos, they have very straight lines, scholars, so it's really important that we have something flat to get those straight lines on our paper. Capiche? So go ahead and go grab all those things, families, and then just hit the start button again so that we can get started. If you already have all those things near you, families, then we will go ahead and get started with our two pieces of paper. The first piece of paper, again, is our white paper, and we're going to add some glue to it. We're going to be gluing this white paper to our bigger paper behind it. So let's first grab our glue. We're just going to glue like the corners or the sides of your paper, scholars. You don't need a ton of glue, just a few dots. Then I want you to turn it over, scholars, and place it in the middle so that you can kind of see the other paper all around it. I'm going to push down on my side so it's really stuck on there. That's all the glue and all the paper that you're going to need right now, family, so you can go ahead and put that off to the side. Next, we're going to be making those really, really straight piano lines. So on a piano, we've got a ton of buttons, right? Well, each of those buttons is called a key, just like a key to a door or your house. So each of those keys on the piano has really, really straight lines in between all of them. So now I need you to grab your ruler, and I need you to grab your black crayon or marker, whatever you got, and we're going to be making 8 very straight lines all on our white paper, okay? If you don't quite get 8 families, that's okay. 7 lines or 9 lines or something like that is totally okay. What we don't want is having like a gajillion lines, because that would just be way too crazy, right? So let's go ahead and grab our ruler. Let's grab our black, and let's start making 8 lines straight across. So you can see I'm going to take my black and I'm going to grab the very top of my white paper. I'm not going to draw on my red paper. I'm only drawing on my small white paper. So now let's make 1 line going straight down. You can see, scholars, how I'm holding my ruler. I'm holding it very, very close. Then when I take it away, I get this super straight line. Now let's do it again. That was line number 1. Here's line number 2. Line number 3. Line number 4. Remember, we want about 8 lines, families. Even if you get something like 10 lines or 7 lines, that's okay. So right now, scholars, you can see all my lines and they look very straight, right? So these are going to be our keys. We're going to add some stuff to them to turn them into piano keys. So I have 4 lines already. Let's make another 4. Also remember, scholars, that your lines, they don't touch your bigger paper. So my big paper is red. Your lines are not going to touch your big paper. They only touch your white paper. This is going to be my last line, families. If you need some more time to make your lines, just go ahead and hit pause. Always remember to just hit pause or rewind. If I'm going a little bit too quickly, scholars, take your time to do anything that you need. So now, families, we have all our lines all across our piano keys. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. So in total, I actually have 9 white keys. So now I need you to grab that extra piece of scratch paper that you got earlier. My scratch paper is red because I just had some leftover red. But if you have like white scratch paper, that's okay, because you can actually color it when we're done. Okay, so I'm going to grab my extra piece of red paper, my scratch paper. I'm going to grab my scissors. Remember, scholars, if you're not with any grown-ups right now, I want you to wait until some grown-ups get home so that you can do this together. We want to make sure we're being safe with our scissors. Now, families, I want you to grab your scratch paper, and we're going to make some rectangles out of it so that at the end they look kind of like this. They're going to be put all on top of our white keys. So we want like 6 or 7 of these smaller rectangles. See, when I cut them, they're not too big, they're kind of short. I already have some rectangles cut out for me, so I'm just going to finish cutting these so I can have some extras. Remember, you want about 6 or 7 of these small rectangles, families. You don't need too many. So now I've got all these rectangles, I've got my extras, I've got the ones I'm going to glue down, and now we actually need to put them on our piano. Now when I put them on our piano, scholars, normally these would be black. So if you are using like a white scratch paper to make yours, you can actually color them black and it's gonna look more like a piano than mine. But what we're gonna do with these families is place them on top of the black lines that we made. So you can see it's not sitting over here in the white. So then it just covers up the white and then we can't see our key. But if we put it on top of the black line, it looks more like a real piano key. So let's go ahead and grab one of our rectangles, scholars. Grab that glue or that tape, whatever you got, and I want you to put 2 dots, one at the top and one at the bottom. When you're done doing that, we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna put it on top, remember, on top of the black line. We can see how it's touching all the way at the top of my white paper again. I'm gonna push down where I had that glue, and there we go. I just made some really, really pretty piano keys. So let's grab another one. This next rectangle is gonna go right next door to the one I just made. So let's grab that glue. Remember, 2 dots. And it's gonna go on top of the second black line. We're gonna give them a little bit of space. You can kind of think of this like this is one house, this is another house, and this is the fence that goes in between the houses. So see how they don't touch, families? They do have a little fence, a little bit of a white spot in between them. Now, families, we're actually going to skip our 3rd black line. So I already put keys on my first 2. Now we're going to skip my 3rd one. That's just the way pianos are made. They skip lines every now and then. So let's skip our 3rd one and let's put some more glue on this one so that we can put it on our 4th black line. We're still just putting it so that it kind of looks like the black line is cutting that key right down the middle. We're going to start going a little bit faster, scholars. Remember, 2 dots. And this one is going to go on the next black line. So this is my 5th black line. And my 5th one needs another key, another rectangle. Everything that we've got on our piano, scholar, it's all called a key. So we have white keys, then we have our smaller keys. Now for this next line, scholars, we can see that I put 3 of my smaller keys all together. So I had 2, then I skipped 1, then I had 3. Now I'm going to skip 1 more. So this 7th line, it's my second to last one. We're going to skip it, but we are going to put one last one on that very last line, families. So we should have 2 black line, scholars, that don't have anything on them. All right, families, when you have all 6 of those smaller keys all glued on your lines, now we can take our black marker again, and we're going to start labeling the keys with their right names. So keys and notes, they have names just like you and me, except their names are kind of like the alphabet. So actually all their names we're going to write with capital letters. We're going to do it all down here at the bottom. So let's start with my very first white key. This key is named C, like the letter. Now my next key, we just start going in order, family. So after C always comes D. Next we have E. And notice how I'm writing all in capitals, families. This is so that we don't get our music notes or our keys confused. Now, after E always comes F, just like in the alphabet. And after F always comes G. So G is sitting right in the middle of our piano, right in the middle of all our keys. Now, after G in music, we don't go to H, I, J, K. No, we start over. So we started with C, but we actually skipped over A. So instead of going all the way back to C, we're going to go back even further. We're going to go to A. And I'm still writing in capital letters. After A, just like in my alphabet, always comes B. Then we have C. Ooh, now we can see that we made it all the way back to the beginning. And then we have one leftover key, so that has to be D, because D always comes after C. So now, families, that's it. That's your entire piano. I hope that you take it out and play with it sometime, scholars. Don't forget to show me how your piano's turned out, or if you're having any trouble with it, just send me a quick message in Dojo, Parent Square, or in an email, families. I hope this was really, really fun for you, and I hope that everyone keeps listening to some really fun jazz music. Okay, scholars, I'm looking forward to seeing how your piano's turned out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!